let's start at the beginning. Tell me about Yule when he was born. What was he like as a baby? What was he like growing up? Because it seemed like from the video, a lot of smiles.
A lot of smiles, very funny, liked doing pulling pranks and things like that. And he was just that kid that everybody gravitated to. Uh, and he was the type of kid, he always wanted to play with everybody. Everybody liked him, and he just wanted everybody in his group. Yeah.
How did that transform him on the football field, or how did that signify him on the football field? Because he became, brothers with those guys at Bishop Dwenger. It sounds like from day one, really, when he got there.
Yeah, it just happened. I mean, he just had that kind of personality where I look at him, he just expressed love in the real sense. He just loved people in general, and so it was just really hard not to like Yule. I just can't even imagine him having, enemies, because he was just a loving person, and he just liked everybody. Yeah.
What was it like to see him be so successful and dominant out there on the football field for Bishop Dwenger?
It was a great feeling, but one of the things that I would always tell you, no matter how high you go up, remember, keep your feet on the ground. So I taught him always stay humble. People pat you on the back as you go up, but what happens when you come down? And I said, so just stay humble. And so that's the way he pretty much carried himself, as a humble person.
When they won the state championship in 1990, then again in 1991 during his senior season, what did that mean to him? What did that mean to you to have reached the peak of that certain level?
It meant a lot to me. Number one, he was giving it his all. I mean, whatever he did, he tried to do his best. And so it was a great reward, because they worked hard. That whole team worked hard. And I must say, Yule would even say this, it wasn't just Yule. They were a team. And the cohesiveness of that team, that group was like none other. They were truly a family.
He was being recruited by everybody in the country. What was that like?
That was a little crazy. That was a little crazy because it was letters every day, multiple letters every day, phone calls all the time. And we had some the recruiters actually come to the house. And so it was nice to see people wanted him. And it was confusing for him to decide which one he would go with. But after going to IU, it was like a no-brainer for him because Chris Ditto and Yule wanted to go together wherever they went. So it was a good thing.
How was he able to handle all the attention? Parade All-American, Miami, Michigan, everybody after him. How was he able to handle that?
Yule was just, like I said, Yule was so humble. It was like I just didn't see him expressing a whole lot of excitement. It was like, okay, another letter, another letter. But he was excited about getting the letters, but he was just always so cool about it. So I think he was more concerned about which one am I going to go to, more than just being concerned about all these people want me, all these people want. That wasn't his personality. He was just, where am I going to go? What do you think, Mom? Those kind of things. Of course, I wanted him to stay close to home, but you know how that is.
Well, he ended up at the junior college in Illinois, and what was it like the day that he left your home to go play college football over in Illinois?
It wasn't so bad because I was there every weekend. So, but just knowing that he was just taking that next stage in life, and I was just prepared for that. But he was just wanting to get there so he could get to IU.
When you got the phone call, November 13th, what was that day like for you?
It's that call you never want to get. It's the call you never want to get. I think I just went to a place of being numb because I didn't want to believe that that time had come. So it took me a while to even grasp, did this really happen? Is this really real? So it was, I went in a state of just being numb. Is the only way I can really describe it. That initial hearing that he was no longer on this earth, it just took me to somewhere of unbelief.
Not something you could have ever anticipated or expected.
Well, I can't say that I couldn't anticipate it or not expect it. I'm a woman of faith, and just because of my relationship, and I know this might be, some people might not be able to understand what I'm saying, but I actually knew something was going to happen, which prepared me, but at the same time, that's why when I got the knock on the door from the police department, the police came, I knew that time had come. And I don't know if you'll be able to air all of this, but it was just, I knew something was going to happen.
Was it like a vision or a premonition, or just kind of, how would you describe that?
It was not a vision. It was just a conversation that I had with the Lord, and He forewarned me that something like this was going to happen. And so I just never knew when, and I didn't expect it to happen so soon, but I knew it was going to happen.
What were the next couple of days like? Because I imagine, even, knowing that something was going to happen, I imagine there's a search for answers.
I never asked why. It never came to me to ask why, because I knew that it was going to happen, and I also knew that I knew where Ewell was going, because he was a young man of faith also. And so he had his Christian belief. And so I didn't ask why. Those next 3 days was still a day of being numb, but my attention went more so on consoling the other family members. I have 2 daughters, and just trying to make sure my family was still intact. I just went in mother mode, just trying to make sure I could wrap my arms around them, and we just make this journey together.
At that time, did you see how many people were affected by his death, and how many people he had touched? I imagine as a mother, that's something that you're proud of.
Yeah, this is one of the most beautiful scenes, and I know some people go, well, how can you call that a beautiful scene? But at Ewell's funeral, it was estimated there was like about 1,300 people at his funeral. The church was packed. People was on the stairway, people in the vestibule. I don't even know if some people even got in the building, but the church holds about 1,000, and it was way over that. So just to see that many people show up, and then having been in Triton for just a couple of months, they chartered a whole bus, and it was packed with people who came to his funeral, and he made that kind of an impact with people in that short span of time. That also let me know how special, he was and he is. I don't like to talk of him as was, but he just had that kind of personality that when you left his presence, you felt good about yourself.
A couple weeks later, they're handing out the Ewell Wilson Award to the best player in the SAC. What did it mean to have him honored in that way, and to have him continually honored each year by local football?
It continues to be great gratitude that people saw the kind of young man he was, and that they would want to do something to honor him. That speaks volume about him and his personality, that they would want to even do that. So it's a great appreciation for people wanting to do that in honor of him.
May of 1993, you opened the center here.
Well, not really. May of '93, we actually opened it in our backyard.
Oh, okay.
We
Okay.
started in the backyard.
That was when it all came
Yeah.
to fruition or actuality.
Yeah.
What do you hope people who never had a chance to meet him know about him, know about the legacy that he's leaving, even though he's not with us on this earth?
The legacy that I would want people to know or remember about Ewell is that Ewell learned very early how to love. And I believe that love is the most essential thing that we can have in this life. And Ewell understood it. I would say he understood it far beyond what I understood at that particular time. He knew something about loving people and valuing people. And I think that if anybody want to think about Ewell, yes, he was a very good athlete. Yes, he was a funny person. He was great to be around. But Ewell loved.